Now we're ready. I'm sorry. Thank you, sir.
Our gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this evening, Lord. We thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us. We just ask that you would be with us tonight, Lord, as we go through the city's projects, Lord, the city task, and Lord, that you would be with each and every one of us, and we would make decisions that make you happy. Lord, that we would move this city forward in a positive manner. Lord, we just love you, and we thank you for all that you do in our lives, the way you move in our lives. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. Pledge, Alderman Core, please.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Thank you, bailiff. All right, let's see here. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Chuck Ashby,
Here.
Katie Chasson, Brad Core,
Here.
Jeff Dorey,
Here.
Dickie Lodgeling, Vernon Martin, Sandy Marks, Samuel Reggie, Byron Woolridge.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, appearances, none. Let me get all this set up here. Appointments. I need a motion to accept the resignation of Zach Duyon as Recreation Director effective August 22nd of 2025. Offered by Alderman Martin, second by Alderman Wilridge. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Now I need a motion to accept the appointment of Mr. Brian Burrell as Recreation Director effective September 4th of 2025. Offered by Alderwoman Marks, second by Alderwoman Chasson. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Any agenda amendments? Approval of minutes. Regular council meeting held on August 19th. Offered by Alderwoman Marks, second by Alderman Martin. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Mayor's report, your sales tax chart, your email didn't have it in there, but since that email went out, Chantel got it this evening, and you should all have a copy of it. July, August, the last collection month of this or last fiscal year is $864,280. Fiscal for 24-25, fiscal 23-24, same time was $698,000. We budgeted $9,071,855 for fiscal 24-25, and we collected $9,923,089. Alderman Dore and I were talking a few months back whenever we've had 2 months of 1 million plus in sales tax collections, December, January, and March, April. First and second time ever that's happened in our city in a month of collections. And Jeff made the comment, he said, you know, pretty soon we're going to meet that $10 million a year mark in sales taxes, and I'll tell you, we missed it by less than $100,000 this year. So we continue to work to build the economy, and new businesses are coming in, so things are moving in the right direction. Your user fee chart is included here also. 181,702. If you look at last fiscal year, 2,125,000. This past fiscal year is 2,118,000. So it's in the area of the same amount as the previous fiscal year, rather. Status report on audit findings are in your packets. and then your budget actual comparison as of August 25. Any questions? Standing committee reports. Public Works, Alderman Dorey, please.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Public Works Committee convened Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the council chambers, and a quorum was present. Under action items, there were none. Non-action items, Public Works Director Albert John presented his monthly report. Street Commissioner Wesley Jacobs presented his monthly report. City Engineer Tim Mader presented a monthly report, the engineer's report, which had no items to consider. And with no further business to come before Public Works, the committee recessed.
Thank you, sir. Utility Committee, Alderwoman Marks, or do you have it over there, Alderman Martin? I know she ran the meeting last month, but you have the report?
I'll go ahead and yield to her.
Okay. Or, oh, you do have it? You do have it, yes, sir.
The Utility Committee convened Tuesday, September the 9th, 2025, at 5 p.m. in the council chamber. A quorum was present. There were no action items to present from the monthly engineer report. Under non-action items, wastewater Superintendent Tim Crater presented his monthly report. City Engineer Tim Mader presented the monthly engineer's report, which had no action items for the council to consider. The mayor and Tim Mader both spoke in detail about DEQ's consolidated compliance order and DEQ's renewal of the wastewater treatment facility discharge permit, and the related enforceable plan of action involving potentially an estimated $18 million in required improvements to the collection system and treatment plant. There was no further action to come before the Utility Committee, and the committee recessed.
Thank you, ma'am. We do have a speaker card on the discussion item number 3, the non-action item, and I'd like to let Mr. Clint Crater speak on proposal and option for the $18 million issue.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mayor,
Crater.
Council. Thank you for letting me address you. I can tell you it's a whole lot different on this side of the podium than it is on that side of the podium, but after reading the paper and listening last week about the $8 million improvements that may be required, it got me to thinking, and I wrote down some notes, and I'd just like to first off, tell you about my background. My background, I have 36 and a half years working for a mid-major oil and gas company. And I'm not by any means an expert in wastewater facilities, but I do draw some comparisons to what we had offshore. We had very strict limitations for the produced water that we discharge into the Gulf of America, like the wastewater facility has on the water that is being discharged in the Bayou Plaquemine. Production platforms have a limited space for adding equipment, but thankfully they have several chemical companies out there that can treat the water with certain chemicals that can get the water into compliance. Sometimes it required us to try several different companies before finding the company that can invent a chemical that would work. And you may know Mr. Gerard Primo. He's probably your age. He was one of the best that I've ever had. And he would take raw components offshore, bring his little suitcase, mix his own chemicals on site if he didn't have the one that would work, and until he got it right, he would actually invent a chemical. I would suggest that before spending millions of dollars on things that might work, you explore the avenue to see if they can suggest something to get your discharge water in compliance. It won't cost anything to try it, and maybe a chemist can solve your problems. Will it work? I don't know. I guess that's an $18 million question, but I think it's worth exploring. I really do. And again, I'll close on that, but that's just drawing from my experience, and thank y'all very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Crater. Appreciate you. Your point of view there. That's interesting, too. All right, Recreation Committee, Alderman Ashby, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Recreation Committee convened Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the council chamber, and a quorum was present. Under action items, there was no action items. Under non-action items, Recreation Interim Director Brian Borrell presented the monthly Recreation Department report. City Engineer Tim Mater presented the monthly report, which had no action items for the council to consider. There was no further business to come before the Recreation Committee, and the committee recessed. And welcome aboard, Brian.
Thank you, sir. Zoning Annexation, Alderman Reggie. So, let's see, let's go ahead and, yeah.
I'll get to number 2.
Go ahead and read your committee, agenda as it's printed there. And then when we get to,
3.
number 1 on the actual council agenda. So if you look at your council agenda, number 1 is the action item for tonight. So go ahead and read through all of your committee report there. And then we'll move to number 1 for the action item.
Okay.
Number 1 on tonight's agenda.
Okay, Zoning and Annexation Committee convened Tuesday, September 9th, 2025, 5 p.m. in the council chambers. A quorum was present. Under action items, there was no action items to present from the monthly engineer's report. Number 2, a motion was made by myself and seconded by Alderwoman Sandra Marks to table the Crowley Planning Commission's recommendation of the conditional use submitted by Heather Kelly, owner of 719 Huval Street, for zoning variance to be occupied as a residential dwelling in the city of Crowley, Acadia Parish, to move to the reviewing agent since that area is already zoned R3 until the recommendation is heard from Rodney Richard. And then a motion was made by myself and seconded by Alderwoman Sandra Marks to consider the Crowley Planning Commission's unfavorable recommendation for conditional use submitted by Brandon Romero, owner of the office building at 718 East First Street in Crowley, moving location from across the street to 715 East First Street, Crowley, in the city of Crowley, Acadia Parish. And then I asked for all wanting to speak in favor of the office location moving to come forward. Those speaking in favor were Brandon Romero, Tony Crater, and Julie Romero. And then I asked for all wanting to speak in opposition of the office move to come forward. Those speaking in opposition were Sharon Kaur, Nancy Broadhurst, Claire Blanchett, Terry Trahan, Terry Morgan, Charlotte Martin, Ruth Barbier, and L.J. Geelan. After the committee vote, only one opposed, motion carried.
And there you go. Okay.
And
So now let's go to number 1 on tonight's agenda.
Okay, number 1, to consider the unfavorable recommendation of the Crowley Planning Commission for the conditional use application submitted by Brandon Romero regarding 715 East First Street, Crowley, to be used as an office building and ISO move.
Okay. So I have, we have a motion. We have a second. Okay, discussion. Now we're gonna, Sandy. Second, offered by Alderman Reggie, second by Alderwoman Marks, I'm sorry. We have multiple speaker cards. I will, according to ordinance, you have 3 to 5 minutes, so I've got the timer set at 4 minutes. When you hear the timer go off, you'll know that it's time to start wrapping up. Please respect everyone's time and do so at that time. I will call up in no particular order. When I call your name, please come up, state your name, and I mean, unless he wants to, but he didn't.
To kind of give out what a variance is.
Yeah.
And everybody should be aware by now. I don't know that I can add to anything, any information that you want.
Yeah. So let's call up, Michelle, is it Kleins? Klein, okay, I'm sorry. Push the green button.
Hi, good evening. My name's Michelle Kleins. I live at 517 North Avenue G here in Crowley, and I am opposed to the conditional use permit application for Cliffs Towing.
I'm glad you did that because my timer was set for 3 hours. Let's delete that. I don't know if you'd have had that much to say. All right, thank you. Let's see, Brandon Romero.
Hello, I'm Brandon Romero. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here to respectfully request a conditional use permit for the property at 715 East First Street. I want to be clear from the beginning. I'm not moving my business out of town, and I'm not leaving the 700 block of East First Street. My request is simply to expand and improve my business by moving my office across the street to the 715 East First Street address, while also fully enclosing the existing storage yard at 718 East First Street on the south side of the road. Cliffs Towing has proudly served the city of Crowley since 1978. I understand that towing is not always seen as a pretty business, but I believe you can see in the plans I've shared with you on these pictures, my vision for its future will actually enhance the appearance and functionality of this area. I'm not asking for rezoning. I'm asking for my home at 715 East First Street, which is zoned R1, to remain R1, but be granted conditional use as an office for Cliffs Towing and Recovery. This change will directly benefit both my business and the community. Currently, when multiple record trucks and customers and my staff members are gathered at the office, we often end up with vehicles parked along the roadway. By moving my office across the street and providing additional parking, we will get the people off of the street and be a safer place for traffic and congestion and improve safety. I am aware that concerns have been raised about potential impacts on property values. However, if you research, simply use Google, you search property values with commercial property next to it, it actually increases the value of the property. The city has made great progress in the last few years with addressing blight and abandoned vehicles and stuff like that, which my business is a necessary partner in that effort because those vehicles must be removed and managed. And that's the service that we provide. It's not pretty. We have to deal with the vehicles. Tonight, I'm asking you to allow me the opportunity to better serve the city and its citizens by approving this conditional use permit. You will not only be supporting the continued success of a longstanding local business, but also helping me to help you in your work for improving Crowley. Thank you, Brandon Romero.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Microphone. Thank you.
All right. There was a lot of confusion at the last meeting, and some of the constituents called me and asked me exactly what is going on. Well, to be honest with you, I still don't understand what's going on. But I did tell them, well, the question was asked, did we hear right that the person does not have to go under the judiciary control of the city, but he wants to? Is that a true statement?
Correct.
Okay. To those that's listening out there, now you have it from the person that expunged on it earlier. The second question they asked was why. Only person can answer that is you. So I ask you why.
So we've had dealings with this property in the past over the last 20 plus years.
Okay.
us parking there when the road gets congested, trying to keep the roadway open, stuff like that. The last few months, we were able to purchase the property, started cleaning it up a little bit more. We don't have permission to use it, it's our property now. So we're looking to enlarge our business, and we asked for a conditional use so that it would be legal, and so that the city and the planning, zoning commission, whatever, we have permission from the city to use it for what we're stating only.
Okay.
Not for a storage yard, not for wrecked vehicles, not for anything like that.
But that's only if you get an upvote on it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, no, I'm sorry, I just want to make sure that they understand who's
Yes,
watching.
sir. Yes, sir. That's what we're applying for.
Okay. I just want to make that clear because, like I said, I don't answer other people's questions. I only answer what I understand, and I didn't understand it, but I think you made it clear. So just to put it in the right perspective here, you don't need the city's permission to do what you want to do.
No, sir.
But yet, you are willing to go under the scrutiny, it is scrutiny,
So
of the city's regulations.
I need the city's permission to open the office there.
Okay,
That's about it.
okay.
And
All right.
like I said, there was some confusion, like you said, about rezoning. This is nothing about rezoning.
Okay,
You know, we're not leaving, we're still gonna be across the street. We're just asking permission to use the property as an office and
Okay.
additional parking for our office staff and some of our records to where we're not congesting the city streets.
okay. Well, I'm about to clear myself with this right here because some of the people watching happen to be great legal minds. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a thing they call detrimental alliance. If you don't know what it is, Google it, okay? And for the people that don't know, I'm about to read what it is. Detrimental alliance is used as a tool to make sure that every person, whether it's you or anybody, have an even playing field, okay? Detrimental alliance, and Mayor, I only have a few, I want to read it to everybody.
Yeah, if you don't mind,
Okay.
wrap it up.
All right. Detrimental alliance is a term that is often used to force a party to perform their obligations under contract under the theory of permissional, it stops, okay? In a detrimental alliance claim, it must be shown that the reliance was reasonable, okay? This is done on a case-by-case basis that makes all factors that takes all factors into consideration. Detrimental mean that there was some type of harm suffered. If these type of cases are remedied, often involve the monetary damages award to compensate the party that relies and suffer economic harm as a result. In layman's terms, is this, and this is anybody, it's not just you. One thing I do is my homework. I've been at this for almost 30 years. You don't pass nothing on Steph Martin without him finding out what's what. In other words, I skip the altar boy and I go to the Pope, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something here. It could be anybody. They got the right to sue each and every one of us. You understand? Not as a council, but as individuals. If you suffer, or anybody suffer any harm under the reliance, whether the wording is, and we have an attorney here, he can expand on it as well. And I'm here to tell everybody, Steph Martin is not about ready to be sued, okay? I go by what I took the oath of office for. And I'm not saying anybody's doing anything differently, but I'm speaking as for me, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to ask some questions to Mr.
Sure.
Romero. Mr. Romero, thank you for coming tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
And I wanted to have some questions with you because on transparency, I don't know anything about the tow truck business.
Yes, ma'am.
So I did some homework, and I just want to qualify. It's 718 East First Street that's the towing and recovery.
Yes, ma'am.
You're requesting a conditional user at 715 East First Street.
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you presently live?
283 Barber Drive, Crowley, Louisiana.
You're in the city limits?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
You don't live in the city
ma'am.
limits? And so what you do is a good service by consensual and non-consensual tows,
Yes, ma'am.
bringing people off that have had accidents off the interstate, around the city. How many businesses do you have?
I have one.
How many yards do you have?
I have two,
Where are those yards located?
Crowley and Rain.
Did you just recently buy some property in Scott for a yard?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Do you plan on expanding outside of the parish?
Another business partner is planning on spending, that's not me.
Okay, so I called today the Louisiana Public Service Commission. Are you familiar with that commission?
Yes, ma'am.
Our representative is Mike Francis, who is chairman of that commission. And I spoke with the administrator, Tammy Burrell, transportation administrator. And your license or your permit to operate is 6386A, correct? And good news, you're in good standing. After a few things that you did have to repair, you became in compliant. So you say you want a conditional use for 715 East First Street.
Yes, ma'am.
And you list office building. Then you list additional use. Number one, parking employee vehicles, company vehicles, customer personal vehicles, and associated safe parking. For everyone, would you define company vehicles?
It would be our tow trucks.
Your
Our-
tow trucks?
Yes, ma'am, to
So
where we can get them off the road.
would be on 715 East First Street?
Yes, when the drivers are not on a call or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
we also have the state police that come twice a year and inspect all of our trucks at our yard.
Well, that was the next thing. I know that I've got a call into the Louisiana State Police tow unit, which is your governing body. They haven't returned my call yet, so I don't have your license. And I like to verify everything on fact checks. When was your most recent inspection?
About 3 months ago for our trucks.
And they, on your trucks?
Yes, ma'am.
Did they or did they not inspect your yard?
At that time, no. So they usually do it two separate times of the year. They inspect our yards, believe it was the beginning of the year. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, I could be wrong, but what I was told that they inspect the vehicles and the yards at the same time.
Yes, ma'am. They inspect the stored vehicles in our yard.
Okay, have they ever asked you to remove those vehicles to put on 715 during the inspection? Were they inspected on that 715 East First Street site, this inspection?
My tow trucks have been inspected on 715.
Mhm.
Last year, the second time they inspected our trucks, they blocked First Street. They had two state troopers came, they blocked First Street, and we did everything on the road. This year, they came a few months ago, and the trooper asked us to use their property. I said, it's mine, but we're not supposed to be there. He said, well, it's not going to hurt nobody. We put all of our trucks on that property, and they inspected them. It took them about 6 hours.
So
They
you
inspect-
plan on company vehicles to put those tow trucks on that 715 East First Street. What's associated safe parking? What's that? It was in your letter.
It was in my letter?
It was in your letter, yes, sir.
If I remember correctly, we put for company vehicles, customers, and my employees.
Okay, and there's no other definition of associated
No,
safe
ma'am.
parking?
No.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, one more question. The property south of you on Front Street, the easement for the railroad, from Avenue J to the overpass, is that your stuff?
Yes, ma'am.
Do
That
you
is
own that
semi-trailers.
easement?
So we own the buildings on the easement. We have permission from the railroad. We've been using it for years.
Do you have a letter of acknowledgement to use that? Is it a lifetime in perpetuity forever?
No, we've been in negotiations with the railroad. They're having trouble with their title search for us to purchase the property. We have been using it because we did for I want to say it was the art club or art association. They had purchased the old Hilo Insurance Building, and it got condemned, so we tore that down, and they gave us the use of the property from the railroad since we tore that down.
Okay, so you have no written permission to use that
I own
land?
the buildings, that's the only thing
You
I
have the building.
legal.
What do you do in that building?
We store some of our records.
Okay, so when the state police come to inspect your yard, because that's not really your yard,
That's not our storage
it
facility.
doesn't ever get inspected.
No, ma'am.
Okay, are you aware of yesterday on Highway 90 by Clark's Huff Power that there was demolished cars, vehicles that exploded and went on fire just randomly?
No.
You weren't aware of that?
aware of that.
I have pictures of that. I'm concerned at the safety. If that's not inspected and there is hazardous waste or batteries or things that are potential hazard to the area, I don't feel comfortable knowing that no one's inspecting that.
So most of that property is stored for semi-trailers.
I see that.
That's what's mostly there. There's no vehicles. They might have a couple of records parked there, and maybe a couple personal vehicles or something like that. from
Are y'all
semi-drivers.
under a certain condition? You've got to keep vehicles for so long before you move them?
Yes, ma'am.
Because
So-
we see things coming in, but we never see things going
Yes,
out.
ma'am. And it's like I was saying about the blighted vehicles and, even people that wreck every day. A lot of people don't have insurance. And on our state statutes, whenever you get in
That's
touch
right.
with them, they can verify. So we have a system of procedures that we have to follow from the state.
Mm-hmm.
We have to notify the registered owner within so many days by a registered letter, certified letter, that
Mm-hmm.
we picked up their vehicle. This is the charges. If you don't come and get it, we have to follow through with the state.
Right, and
So-
I did
Dr.
learn that.
Marks, if you can
Okay,
wrap it up,
thank you. I'm
please.
going to just, the Louisiana Public Service Commission sets your fees and also that you're compliant with insurance.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you turn in every insurance thing that comes into your yard?
If we have insurance, if the
Okay.
vehicles have.
Thank
insurance.
you. Appreciate it.
And also, I'd like to say, those vehicles, on us getting those paperwork and that, sometimes if it's an out-of-state vehicle and stuff like that, the state can take up to 8 or 9 months.
I see.
For us to be
And
able
your
to.
tow truck drivers are not considered first responders?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions?
Anything else, Mr. Romero? I turned the watch off when you started asking questions. I turned the watch off when you started asking questions, Mr. Martin. Mr. Romero, you got anything else to add?
Any other questions for me? I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Terry Trahan, please. Let me put my watch back on.
I'm not going to be that long. Good evening, Mayor and Crowley City Council. My name is Terry Trahan, and I live at 304 East 3rd Street here in Crowley. I chose to move to Crowley 5 years ago because of the character, charm, and historic integrity of its neighborhoods. I now serve on the city's Historic District Commission because of my dedication to preserving these qualities. I visited the property and surrounding area and observed a clear separation uses along First Street, residential on the north, light industrial on the south. The applicant's existing record yard is poorly maintained with wrecked vehicles, trucks, trailers in plain view. An eyesore that negatively affects neighbors and anyone traveling the street. Mr. Romero purchased the property knowing it's in the R1 single-family residential district and plans to use it for commercial purposes. Statements made by him and others that he could do whatever he wants if the application isn't approved are deeply troubling and sends the wrong message to current and future residents. Residential districts exist to protect quiet enjoyment, safety, and neighborhood stability. Approving this permit would diminish the quality of life for nearby residents and undermine the very purpose of residential zoning. I strongly urge you to deny this application and uphold the recommendation of the Planning Commission and Zoning Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Nancy Broadhurst.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm Nancy Broadhurst, and I reside at 524 East 4th Street. I oppose the issuance of a conditional use permit to Cliff's Towing Service. Thus, as our elected city officials, I ask you to uphold the integrity of the historic residential zoning, to prioritize the health, safety, and well-being of the residents who call this neighborhood home, to recognize that zoning ensures community development in a sensible, orderly way. Commercial development negatively impacts residential property values. Allowing an industrial-style business to have a conditional use permit sets a precedent. It signals zoning laws can be bent or ignored, opening the door for other incompatible commercial ventures in the future. I ask for your consideration to deny this request. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's see, Claire Blanchard, please.
Good evening. My name is Claire Blanchard. I reside at 705 East 2nd Street, and I am expressing my opposition to the conditional use application submitted by Cliff's Towing and Brandon Romero. This type of business brings excessive noise pollution, excessive traffic, and we do not have suitable roads to handle this in that area because it is a residential neighborhood. It disrupts the quality of life for the residents in the neighborhood, and we are all very concerned that it will worsen the situation because it is already a problem. It is a very noisy situation. We have not said anything because we understand Crowley has to have businesses, but this would only exacerbate the problem. I respectfully urge you to prioritize the well-being of our community and its residents when making this decision, and please deny the application in order to preserve the character of our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's see, Terry Morgan, please.
Terry Morgan. I live at 107 North Avenue L. That is my family home where I was raised. I own 105 North Avenue L, which was my grandmother's house that she bought in 1927. Would strongly oppose it. I've lived through this for the last 20 years, 21 years. I don't want to see it get any worse. We want to be left alone. We want to enjoy our homes. It's time to, this is not the first time this has come up. It's time to allow us to live our lives without having to fight for what we own, what we enjoy. It's not the same as when I was a kid. This towing service has changed our area completely. Further expansion will just exacerbate it and also affect more of the area. I strongly oppose it. I would request the council to reject. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I see Sharon Kaur, please.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the Crowley City Council. My name is Sharon Kaur, and I live at 315 East 3rd Street here in Crowley. I have proudly been a resident of the Historic District for 29 years. I am here tonight to voice my strong opposition to the conditional use permit request for 715 East First Street. This property lies within the R1 single-family residential district. The ordinance clearly sets forth which uses are permitted within this zoning category, and the proposed use does not qualify. A conditional use permit should not be used to override the intent and protections of R1 zoning. To do so would not only contradict the ordinance, but also set a dangerous precedent that erodes the integrity of zoning throughout the city. Beyond legal concerns, there are very real community consequences. Approving this request would weaken the stability of the historic district, which sits in close proximity. It would disrupt the peace and character that residents have worked for generations to preserve. It would diminish property values, discourage future investment, and make it harder for the city to expand the district in years to come. The historic district is more than buildings. It is Crowley's legacy. It represents our shared history, our pride of place, and the quality of life that makes this city unique. Allowing an incompatible use in this location threatens all of that. For both legal reasons and the community values at stake, I respectfully but firmly urge the council to deny this application. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Carolyn Trahan Bertrand, please.
Good evening, members of the council. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight. First, let me say that I'm always in favor of progress within the city, and particularly commercial progress, which I know is sorely needed. However, when you look at the historic character of our very special historic district, it is something that is vitally necessary that it be maintained, which means that it cannot be altered in any way. You should not make any exception, including a conditional use. The line of demarcation that clearly establishes those limits, the zoning ordinances in place, all provide advance notice to everyone who is a resident of the district, as well as the surrounding commercial areas, about what uses are and are not allowed. That clear line of demarcation is what is at issue tonight. If you move that line, you are opening Pandora's box. I urge you to vote no. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. L.J. Geelan.
My name is L.J. Geelan, and I live at 103 East 5th Street, Main Street downtown. And I've been a resident of Crowley all my life, except the 4 years I attended LSU. And I was here when that record service was given permission to go where they are now. And it ended up turning into more than just a place for a record service. And they bring the wrecked vehicles or the broken vehicles, whatever, and it seemed like a lot of times they just stay and continue staying. And this conditional service use they want to put on the property across the street, I'm afraid might turn into something more than that. Just a conditional use. And I'd said before, there's an ordinance the forefathers before all of us made the ordinance. Things change over years with enforcement of the ordinance, but I think we should leave it just as it is. And hopefully that area will clean up, get straight. It's, the stuff that's there it's not conducive. So for increased business or anything except for a salvage yard. So I would just ask that you leave it where it is and look for a way to continue to improve that whole section, even across the railroad track to the south, to make that whole area pretty. Because when you have beauty, a lot of things want to come. And when you don't, they don't look at it but one time and move on to something else. And that's all I'm going to say tonight. Thank you very much. And I have nothing against Mr. Romero. You know, he's a good businessman and he's trying to increase his business here. And apparently he's getting other locations around the area. So, you know, he's going to have some large salvage yards. And maybe what's been stored under all this area, under the bridge and everywhere else, maybe some of that stuff will be moved to his other salvage yards. But just thank you all for hearing everybody who's here, pro and con. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. All right, Ann Delahousie.
Good evening. I'm Ann Delahousie. I live at 313 East Hutchinson Avenue here in Crowley. I've been a resident of Crowley my entire life, and I am opposed to the conditional use permit being granted to Cliff's Towing Service for many reasons. They've been stated by quite a few people. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And that is all the speaker cards we have. Any discussion from the council? Mr. Martin.
What does, none of this talk about where the man's going is not germane to the subject. If this man wants to go build a salvage yard in Washington, D.C., that's his business. What does this have to do with where he's at right now? It's not germane to the subject, and I hope y'all strike everything that was said as far as where he's going with his business. That didn't make any sense, and it's not germane to the subject. And if you don't know what germane is, once again, look it up.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I have a few
Mr.
comments. First, I want to thank Mr. Romero for his company's long-term service to the city of Crowley and recognize his need to expand business operations. This has been said, the property considered is located in the R1 single-family residential district and is adjacent to the city's historic residential district. Residents in this district expect quiet enjoyment, safety, and neighborhood stability. The community concerns and complaints I've received about the existing facility over the years include lack of upkeep, a visual impact due to lack of screening of stored vehicles, the use of front and first streets for unloading vehicles from wreckers and blocking of traffic, parking and repair of large trucks next to the proposed site, which is zoned R1 residential and does not permit such use. The impacts from the proposed conditional use include increased traffic congestion on neighborhood streets, additional noise from vehicle movements and operations, safety concerns from an increase in traffic by company vehicles and large tow trucks, visual impacts from commercial use activity, and negative effect on the demand for residential property and related values. All of these impacts would diminish the enjoyment of homes in the area and undermine the intent of the residential zoning district. While Mr. Romero's business needs are valid, the proposed commercial use is incompatible with the residential character of the neighborhood north of First Street. Out of respect for the citizens' concerns and the intent of the R1 single-family residential zoning ordinance, I cannot justify support for this request. Thank you.
Any other discussion? So let me, there seems to be some confusion early on, and I want to explain what the vote is. The committee last week voted in favor of the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation to deny the conditional use. The committee's recommendation was sent to the full council, just as any committee vote is. Each week it's sent the following week to the council. Tonight, there's been a motion and a second and discussion to uphold the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission, unfavorable consideration of the conditional use. So a yes vote will deny the conditional use for this property. A no vote will be against the denial of the conditional use, just so that everybody understands what you're voting for, because it's seems a little backwards if you think about it. So we'll ask for a vote. All in favor of denying the conditional use and upholding the Planning and Zoning Commission's refusal of the permit, all in favor?
Aye.
We can have a roll call if you want. Do we need a vote for a roll call, or just? All right, let's do a roll call.
Chuck Ashby? Katie Chasson? Brad Core?
Yes.
Jeff Dorey? Dickie Lodgeling?
Yes.
Vernon Martin? Sandy Marks? Samuel Reggie? And Byron Woolridge? Two opposed.
So 7 yeses, 2 nos, and the motion carries for denial of the conditional use permit. And Mr. Reggie, I think you're done.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
And then under non-action items, City Engineer Tim Mater presented the monthly engineers report, which had no action items for the council to consider. There was no further business to come before Zoning and Annexation Committee, and the committee recessed.
Thank you, sir. Public Safety, Alderman Core, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The Public Safety Committee convened Tuesday, September 9th at 2025 at 5 p.m. in the council chambers, and a quorum was present. Under action items, a motion was made by myself and seconded by Alderman Chuck Ashby to approve the renewal application for Bayou Bend Country Club, Golf Club, for a 2026 Class A retail beer permit and a 2026 Class A retail liquor permit, and the motion carried, and I so move.
Offered by Alderman Core, second by Alderman Martin. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And Mr. Reggie recuses.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And we have on the agenda today 2 renewal applications that did not go to committee. The first being Korchner's Specialty Meats, located at 205 VFW Drive, for a 2026 Class B packaged beer permit and a 2026 Class B packaged liquor permit. And we have the applications. Chief, you reviewed those?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And I also move to approve these applications.
Second.
This application.
Offered by Alderman Core, second by Alderwoman Marks. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the next application that did not go to committee is Reggie's Downtown Crowley LLC, located at 218 North Parkson Avenue, for a 2026 Class A retail beer permit and a 2026 Class A retail liquor permit. Chief, did these also, you reviewed these as well?
Yes.
Okay. And with that said, I also move to approve.
Second.
Offered by Alderman Core, second by Alderwoman Marks. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Reggie recuses on all 3.
Under non-action items, Police Chief Troy Hebert presented his monthly report. Fire Chief Louis Romero presented his monthly report. City Inspector Tony Duhon and Marty DeRossell presented the monthly report. Alderman Vernon Martin discuss concerns about the Crowley Fire Department. The ordinance pertaining to Section 5, Article 3, condition of property, buildings, and structures, and related fines for non-compliance was not ready for discussion. And Alderman Corr discussed the draft ordinance relating to prohibiting after-hours clubs and related activities in the city. There was no further business to come before the committee, and the committee closed.
Thank you, sir. Let's see, Public Buildings, Alderman Willridge, please.
Public Buildings convened Tuesday, September 9th at 5 p.m. in the council chambers. We had a quorum. Under action items, a motion was made by Alderman Lesley and second by Alderman Salmon Reddy to approve the city of Crowley to co-sponsor One Crowley Free Carnival on October the 4th, 2025, by allowing the use of the Wells Fargo building free of charge. Under number 2,
You want to make a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Offered by Alderman Willridge, second by Alderman Lachele. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
On number 2, a motion was made by Alderman Salmon Reddy and second by Alderman Brad Corr to approve the city of Crowley to co-sponsor breast cancer awareness event put on by Survivor 42216 Foundation, Crowley Alumni Chapter Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and the Delta Community Cooperated. Event will be held on October the 25th, 2025. There will be no They would like to use the use of Wells Fargo's building on that day. Motion carried and I so moved.
Offered by Alderman Willridge, second by Alderwoman Marks. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
There being no further business.
You got one more on the agenda for today?
Yeah, I forgot about me.
Yes, sir.
About that.
Yes, sir. It's on the second.
Item number 3, approve for the city of Crowley to co-sponsor the Crowley Foosball at the Rice Festival building by waiving the fees of use of the building on September the 20th, 2025. Motion carried and I so move.
Offered by Alderman Willridge, second by Alderman Doré. Discussion? I'll let you know that the fur ball is this Saturday. It is a event for animal rescue and shelters here in Crowley and Rain. All of the proceeds are donated to both the shelters, to Haciaz and Rain, and then our shelter here in Crowley. They are a 501c3, and they've got a really amazing show lined up for Saturday. Get you some tickets and be there. It's going to be fun. They'll have plenty of entertainment with puppies there, but it is a fundraiser, a separate 501c3, but it is a fundraiser that does benefit the city and our animal shelter. Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
There being no further business coming for public business, we reset.
Thank you, sir. Insurance and Personnel, Alderwoman Marks.
Thank you, Mayor. The Insurance and Personnel Committee convened Tuesday, September the 9th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the council chamber. A quorum was present. There were no action items nor non-action items, and the committee rests.
Thank you, ma'am. Community and Economic Development, Alderwoman Chasson.
Thank you. The Community and Economic Development Committee convened Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the council chambers. A quorum was present. Under action items, Alderwoman Katie Chasson presented the monthly report about events taking place in the city of Crowley. A motion was made by Alderwoman Katie Chasson and seconded by Alderman Brad Corr to approve closing the street on Parkinson Avenue as follows for upcoming Main Street events. Kids Day, September 27th, 2025. Sip and Stroll, May 2nd, 2026. Sock Hop After School Bash, June 5th, 2026. Kids Day, September 26th, 2026. Halloween Parade, October 30th, 2026. Christmas in Crowley, December 5th, 2026, and I so move.
Offered by Alderwoman Chassaw, second by Alderman Martin. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Under non-action items, Wendy Harrington with the Acadia Parish Tourist Commission gave an update on the Tourist Commission. There was no further action to come before the Community and Economic Development Committee, and the committee recessed.
Thank you, ma'am. Revenue and Finance, Alderman Lochley.
Thank you, Mayor. The Revenue Finance Committee convened Tuesday, September the 9th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the council chambers. A quorum was present. There were no action items and there were no discussion items. On today's agenda, we have another item that did not go to committee. It's the adoption of a resolution authorizing the adoption of the Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire for audit engagements of governmental entities for fiscal year 2025. I'll read a brief of the resolution. Resolution of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Crowley, Acadia Parish, Louisiana, authorizing the adoption of the Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire for the audit engagements of governmental entities for the fiscal year 2025, and I so move.
Offered by Alderman Lochley, second by Alderwoman Marks. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. There was no other business to come before the committee. The committee recessed.
Thank you, sir. Ordinances, how about the engineer's report? Nothing. Adjournment? Motion to adjourn offered by Alderman Reggie, second by Alderman Core. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.